Hey Centron, good evening. What's going on, guys? Hey guys, as people are kind of filing into the stream here, why don't you go ahead and take a second, tell me where you're viewing in from. Welcome, Terrence. Space 33D. Ellison, welcome. Always nice to have you here. So I'm just giving it a few seconds while people kind of join into our stream here. If you would, take a second and let me know, where are you viewing in from? Hey Ellison, how are you tonight? And as you guys are typing that in, I will tell you, for those who don't know, I'm Coach Nino Villa. I am a disciple of Christ, husband, father, and financial coach. And I wanted to talk to you tonight about how even us pros mess it up. And I'll get more into that in just a moment. I want to see if other people start hanging out with us. So I don't have to do too much repeating. Allison, where are you viewing in from? Picture of the little guy behind me. All right, so I think I'm going to jump into this, and as people show up, they show up. And if not, it'll just be you and I, and that'll be just fine as well. So I wanted to get on tonight and talk a little bit about even as a financial coach and somebody who's been coaching other people for a number of years now. Even I make mistakes when it comes to budgeting or purchases, and I make mistakes along the way. But I made a big one recently, and I felt like it was time to get on and share with everybody just how badly I messed up. It wasn't that bad, but it was bad enough. So if you're somebody who is trying to work a budget, if you're familiar with Dave Ramsey and you're trying to put together a monthly budget, you know that he always talks about on paper, on purpose, every single month, brand new. And my wife and I do that, and there's a very good reason why you need to do that. And that's what I'm going to share tonight, because I messed up. And even though I had the plan on paper, on purpose, and it was brand new every month, I wasn't considering certain things, and therefore I wasn't really executing the plan to a T. So here's what happened. I get paid bi-weekly. So in May, that's 2 months ago already, I had one of those 2 months where I get 3 pay periods in the month. And so I did the budget, and in those months, my wife and I always decide that that's when we're going to take care of things like clothing. So we don't budget for clothing every single month. We budget for clothing when I get that extra pay period in a month, so twice a year. And so, so May was that month, and we budgeted for a couple of extras like that. And when I look back at the budget, I realized I only made the minimum monthly payment on my smallest debt. I didn't make my new minimum monthly payment, and I don't know how that passed me by, how that one got past me. And so what happened is, I missed this extra payment. We spent where we shouldn't have spent, and so I messed up. Right? Even a pro like me, been at this for 2+ years, I messed up. And but more than just messing up, I want to share with you, it doesn't change the commitment, right? So you get up on the horse again, and you ride, and you live to die another month, or you live to live another month, or something like that. But anyway, you mess up, you get back on the horse, and you keep going. And so in June, we made amends, and it worked out. But what I'm noticing here in July is there's just so many different things coming at us from so many different angles that if I didn't have a brand new budget on paper, on purpose, every single month, well then I would, sorry about the notifications, guys. If I didn't do that, then I would be in a mess this month. I'm already, like I said, there's already a bunch of things coming at us this month. But if I didn't do a written budget, it'd be a hot mess. So here's what's going on. For a very long time, we've been only paying on my wife's student loans. That was a strategic decision to cut through as much of her loans as possible before mine went into repayment. Well, guess what's happening in July? That's right. My student loans are going to repayment. And so I was like, ooh, this is gonna it's gonna squeeze the budget, and I'm not gonna be able to cut through my wife's student loans with as much aggression, and if I wasn't paying attention, those due dates would come up and I wouldn't have any money, and it would be a hot mess. So you gotta sit down every single month on paper, on purpose, and you gotta write down every dollar that you have coming in and every dollar you got going out. Hey Chad, welcome buddy. Thanks for hanging out. And thanks for all the hearts too. I appreciate that, Cintron. So if you don't sit down and write out a brand new budget every month, things can explode. And so this month is a perfect example. And the reason I'm doing this on July 1st is normally I'd have my July budget out on YouTube for everybody to see that, and so that they have a solid example. But I've been dragging my feet because my last pay period in June was just this past Friday. So I kind of wanted to see, okay, wait a minute, let me make sure that money's going where it needs to go, and so I can reevaluate July, because like I said, my student loans are going into repayment this month. Or so I thought. See, there's so much craziness going on. So because I wanted to be strategic in still going after my wife's student loan payments, we decided to do, if you have student loans and you haven't looked into this, you might want to look into this if you feel like you're being suffocated by your student loan payment, income-based repayment. So what they're going to do is they're going to take a calculation based off of your taxes that you filed last year, and they're going to say, okay, based off of that number, what should their discretionary income be? Oh, let's minus out any student loans they owe anywhere else. And then they go, okay, this is what you should be able to afford to pay. Well, our minimum monthly payments went way, way, way down. Now, you got to be really, really careful. We have to be really, really careful. So the minimum monthly payment went way down, but that doesn't mean all of a sudden I just pay the minimum monthly and I spend like crazy. It means strategically focusing on that smallest debt so I can just tear through it quicker. And so although the loans have been extended because the minimum monthly payment went down, which would mean I would pay more interest over the long haul, as long as I can continue to stay focused and I pay aggressively, I will actually save myself an interest over the long term because I'll pay the loan off sooner. So it's something you can do so that you can be strategic, but you got to be really, really careful, and you got to be really, really disciplined. And so what cannot happen is I can't have a month like May where I only paid the minimums. How I only paid the bare minimum in a month where I got an extra pay period? Beyond me. I mean, I've been beating myself up about it ever since May. So like 2 months, and my wife's like, all right, enough, stop beating yourself up. But that's how committed I am to getting out of debt. That's how committed I am to writing down on paper, on purpose, my budget. Thank you for all the hearts. I appreciate that. If you like what you're hearing too, take a quick second, click that little icon, and rebroadcast so other people can benefit from this message as well. But thank you for all the hearts. Really appreciate it. But that's how committed we are to giving every dollar an assignment, writing it down on paper, on purpose, every single month, so that we can get ourselves out of debt. And to have a month where I had extra income and I didn't pay extra on debt, I mean, like seriously, I'm about to like go Fight Club on myself right now. Like what was I thinking? So even us pros who've been doing it a while make mistakes, but it's about getting back up on the horse and just charging forward. So I wanted to share that with you. I wanted to share like that moment of vulnerability to kind of say, hey, you know what? It's not going to be perfect every single month. And in a month where you should make a lot of headway, you might fall short. But don't beat yourself up, but make sure you get right back on the horse and you write down every single dollar on paper, on purpose, with a mission, so that you achieve your goals. You have a goal to get out of debt. The only way you're going to achieve that goal is if you execute the plan. And so I wanted to come on, share with you. I messed up in May, being strategic about July here because my loans are going into repayment, still trying to make as much headway on the wife's loans as possible. And so I just wanted to share. Thank you for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the almost 300 hearts, Cintron. I really appreciate that. That's awesome. You keep tapping away, it'll be up over 300. But thank you for that. And if there's anything I can do for you, if you have any question that I can answer for you, if I can help you to devise a plan and execute that plan, please let me know. You can find me everywhere at Coach Nino Villa, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, here on Periscope, Twitter, all places. The email address is coachninovilla@gmail.com. So find me everywhere at that handle. Go to YouTube. You'll see I have June's budget still up there. I mean, I don't ever take them down, so it's not going down. But I don't have July up there yet because I had to see how Friday played out last week, and then I'll get July's up there for you guys as a strong example of what it should look like, and then it's just a matter of going and executing. So thanks for hanging out with me. I am going to drop this particular broadcast for a second. I'm going to be right back on, and I'm going to share with you guys how my wife and I saved $500 a month in our budget within the first couple of months of being on Dave Ramsey's plan. But I do like to repurpose these streams. I like to put them on Facebook and on YouTube, so I want it to be very, what's the word I'm looking for? Very specific. So just going to talk about how we mess up even as pros, and I'm going to wrap it up here, but make sure you come back to see how we saved $500 in the first couple of months being on Dave Ramsey's plan. Thanks for hanging out with me. Like always, until next time, which will be really, really soon, keep living God's way for God's glory.